to Talking Utter Slot, the podcast about collecting, racing, and realising you're never too old to be having fun with slot cars. Anticipation is the electricity of childhood. So wrote Jason Katecki, artist and author of Escape Adulthood. We don't think he was referring to slot cars, but it's very appropriate to the fun we have with our toy cars. Today we are full of excited anticipation as it's the eve of the biggest slot car weekend of the year, the UK Slot Car Festival at Gaydon. For British slot car fans, it's an event like no other. It's Glastonbury without the mud, Goodwood without the posers, Christmas without the disappointment. Speaking of disappointment, here's my co-host.
Totally unfair, and I'm almost thinking I won't speak. Hello, I'm Pedro. Disappointing, apparently.
Well, you are frequently disappointed. You know, you're disappointed with stick-on headlamps. You're disappointed with lazy liveries, fantasy liveries. There's lots of slot disappointment in your life, but there's lots of joy as well.
Oh yeah,
it's the optimism that kills you, as they say, isn't it?
I have a lot of joy for this particular episode, which I will share with you later, because I don't think your intro is fully finished, is it, Scott?
It is for me.
Okay.
Well, anything you'd like to add?
No, I thought you were going to go on and on and on. No. I am excited because I'm counting the sleeps until Saturday, but you're going to confuse the hell out of me by saying this won't go out till Friday, so it's not tomorrow that we're going to Gaydon. It is tomorrow that we're going to Gaydon, but it isn't tomorrow that I'm going to Gaydon. I mustn't get up tomorrow and go to Gaydon, but I must get up tomorrow and go to Gaydon. This is confusing.
And what are you going to take with you? One slot car and 4,000 hubs? Or what?
This is the last opportunity you have, young man, to rip the pee out of me and my hub dependency.
For those who have not been listening tonight, why not? But anyway, Pedro has been preparing a car for the Polycar Formula One race that takes place on the Saturday at Gaydon. And for this one car, he has been tuning. He's been sanding and fettling and stuff. But most of all, he's been buying wheels and tyres. Now, last I remember, the Ferrari had 2 rear wheels. How many spare hubs have you bought?
And you keep asking that in such a tone that is unbecoming, quite frankly. It's not becoming. I have lost count of the number of hubs that I've bought, and the good news is that as we sit here on Tuesday morning, preparing,
Friday evening.
Sorry, as we sit here on Friday evening, recording this nonsense, I am waiting for yet another delivery of hubs from Lancashire. Lancashire is the hub capital of the world, and I'm just tapping into it. Well, so it turns out that you ask about preparation. I asked a question on slotforum.com. Other websites are available, but they're not as good. Of that Conti Roland, the man who claims to be influential in the existence of Polycar F1s. I think he did the transmission or something, him and the Maurizio brothers, whatever. I asked a question of him about the tyres. He gave me an answer. Turns out it was the wrong answer, and I needed to buy yet more hubs and tyres. So I did that yesterday, and I'm really hoping that First Class Post works and that I will be disturbed from this nonsense by a little packet falling through the letterbox. More hubs.
More hubs. Excellent.
The right hubs this time. The right. I don't know, actually. It's just more. It's just more. Bigger, better, faster, more.
I don't want to cause any sort of subconscious bias or anything, but try to make sure you've at least got the same size hub on each side. That's all I'm saying.
But isn't it an oval? Isn't it an IndyCar oval we're racing on?
Surely I don't know. You're the one who's entered. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. And you've entered, you've spent a lot of money on hubs and you haven't practiced. It's either confidence or something else.
But the prize money will surely pay for all the hubs that I've bought.
Well, speaking of that, I gather that the Pendles have all upgraded to first class for their holiday flights, just in the strength of the number of hubs that you've been buying. But yes, all excited for tomorrow, the Slot Car Festival up at Gaydon. It's on Saturday and Sunday. I went all professional, as you accused me of, and I contacted some of the organisers to ask them for any little snippets of information that what people can look forward to, because we know what we're excited about. Anyway, I heard from Roger Barker, who says he's taking 2,000 cars, some new, some old, some new in box, HO, everything from long lost manufacturers, and even, which is something that's good fun at Swap Meet, because I've done this a couple of times, he has literally cars in freezer bags that you can pick up for 7-10 quid, whatever. So they're just in a freezer bag. They might need fixed, they might be in bits, they might be, but you have a good old rummage and you can find some real bargains, or that bit you're missing, or a new body. It's good fun.
In freezer bag, he's defrosting them as he drives the Gaydon. Why would you freeze? Is that some kind of preservation technique that I should be picking up on and using in my tuning?
No, freezer bags with a little zip lock on them, so you can. So they put the car in the bag, zip, so and then there's just a pile of them on a table, and you have a rummage through. It's great.
It's proper jumbo sales stuff.
It's proper jumbo sale stuff. It's pick and mix, but that's good for us. Julie Scale, who's also one of the organisers, she said the important things are it's a new room, so they've got more space, so lots of people, lots of stalls, lots of milling around. Skeletric, who are the sponsors, they're going to be announcing what the 2024 club car is. Now, that's a very interesting thing, because 2 years ago, the club car was the black Mark II Escort rally car, which had must-have written all over it. So I instantly signed up to the club and bought the car. This year, as in 2023, it was a very nice pale blue Mark I Escort, but a road car. And I thought, yeah, don't mind. So I didn't rejoin. I didn't rejoin the club. So it will be interesting to see what they're going to have. So that's always good to know.
Do you think it's going to be a Ford? I hope it isn't a Ford. I think they've overdone Fords. Am I making myself clear?
Let me guess. What would be the least attractive? So it would be a Ford in a fantasy Gulf livery.
Yeah. That would take me right off.
There's the disappointment that we were all hoping for. Moving back to what's again. So there's going to be 17 tracks in total, including a Goodwood Hill, one that's going to be
saw that. Yeah, I've seen that on Instagram, and it looks fun. People have to pedal or something.
Well, yeah, you've got a pedal power. There's an Italian job themed stunt track, and there's the huge rooted wood track from 4-Lane Blacktop, which actually sounds like a band that should have been introduced by Bob Harris on Old Grey Whistle Test. Tonight
Whispering
was a session from 4-Lane Blacktop. I can't do him anyway. But yeah, their second album was really good. And also, in a strange twist of fate, because people may remember the Essex Police livery RS2000 model, there's going to be a real Essex Police RS2000 there as well. So, if you've got the model, bring it along, take a picture of it with the real car. If you haven't got the model, buy the model, take a picture with the real car, all that good stuff. Little known thing about Ford RS200s, they were made in Coventry by Reliant. And I'm saying that as a bitter ex-Austin Rover employee, because somehow or other the RS200 managed to win the British Open Rally Championship in 1986, despite never winning a rally, whereas the 6R4 won most of them, I think. But it was different drivers, so we didn't win the championship. Anyway,
wow, that is an epic chip on your shoulder.
I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go.
Yeah, clearly.
So apart from racing and the podium, which you get a chance to look at from a distance, what else are you looking? Are you looking forward to buying anything? What have you got on your list?
I do have a list, and I mentioned earlier that when we in preamble that I was going to give you my shopping list, because obviously I'm going to be tied up winning the Polycar F1 Grand Prix, so I need someone to be my personal shopper. And I'll give you a little list of what to look out for, and you can just and if you could pay for it, that'd be even sweeter.
Anything. Could you just get on to the merch department and see if they can run me up a T-shirt? I'm Pedro's personal shopper. Don't. Have you got any hubs?
You told me there's two things I'm sort of looking forward to, apart from the whole giddy excitement of how many sleeps until Gaydon.
Just one.
What? No. Oh yeah, I'm not playing that game. I think possibly we should put this out at a different time to undermine your whole your whole position on the sleeps till Gaydon. Anyway, you told me that Professor Motor were going to be somehow represented, and I'm curious about them because I hear a lot about Professor Motors, and I
Well,
wonder if
what
they're
I
there in a selling capacity.
well, sort of limited information. What Julie told me was that Brad from America will be there with the Professor Motor stall. Now, I don't know enough to know if Brad is Professor Motor, or is he, just someone who's knows about them? I don't know. But
I
go
don't know.
along and talk to Brad.
He sounds like the archetypal American though. If he is Brad from America, I mean,
Wouldn't it,
that's
wouldn't
such
it
an
be,
American name,
it'd be
Brad.
brilliant, wouldn't it, if his surname really was Motor?
Brad Motor. The other thing that you told me that you didn't mention in your little bit was that
You do listen. You do listen when the pre-show
well,
chat. I see.
yeah. Vincent from Australia. Who is Vincent from Australia?
Again, you catch me with only partial knowledge. I have no surname, address, or phone number for Vincent.
So, well, anyway, dear listeners, sorry, the Canadian, the two Americans. Vincent is coming from Australia.
Yeah,
I hope he's bringing something vaguely slot related and not just some tinnies.
some
Oh,
kangaroo.
stereotypes.
No, there's also folk from Spain, so there's going to be Slotafera there and Iberslot, if I say that correctly. And I think last time Hobby Classic were there because they brought along the tiny miniature little sets
that gets you all excited.
I get very excited by the tiny miniature set. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff. I mean, although I was sort of semi-joking in the intro when I said it's kind of like Christmas for slot cars, it's kind of like Christmas for slot cars. There's just everything you can imagine. Mini tracks, big tracks, small tracks.
It's kind of like Christmas for slot cars in May. So that's not particularly Christmassy, is it? I mean, there will be no snow on the ground. Oh, I don't know. Actually, it's the Midlands. There could be.
Well, if you ask
Vincent
from Australia, wouldn't associate Christmas with snow, will he? So yeah, careful.
Oh, he'll be at home.
Let's
do it all for Vincent. Let's do it. We'll make it all for Vincent. It's all about you, Vincent. Whoever you are.
He won't be at home. He's in Gaydon. That's the whole point.
I hope he isn't there anonymously. I hope they put a stall up with Vincent from Australia.
In fact, Julie,
so we know who he is.
Julie, if you're listening, because you have a giant sort of purple hand pointing down
all the time.
This is Vincent. This is Vincent.
Come and say good day.
I hope Vincent either doesn't listen to this or he's got a sense of humour. Hello, Vincent. We're actually quite nice in person.
You're going to get lamped in the car park. It's all right. I'll get my phone out and record it, and then we'll put it on Instagram, and we'll get 1 million views.
Well, that's one way to get an audience, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, you haven't asked me what I'm looking forward to.
Is that because I'm not interested?
Probably.
Because I know it's only going to be disappointing. You'll be interested in some resin nonsense, or you'll be interested in yet another 935, or you'll buy yet another Carrera, and then go on and on and on and on and on about the tyres. What are you interested in? What are you looking for, Scott? What's on your shopping list?
I'm not telling you now. That's it. Actually, I've been slightly naughty. You know how you're not meant to buy anything before Christmas because people find it hard to buy you things?
Yeah.
Well, I may have bought myself a slot car last week, which I was kind of saving up for buying at Gaydon, but and it was the Fly Renault 5 in the Lucky Strike livery.
Oh, yeah.
And the aforementioned Pendle posted a picture of what seemed like hundreds of them that they had in stock. And I thought, great, I'll pick one of those up at Gaydon. And then it went sold out. And I went, and you told me that it was a limited edition. There was only, I don't know, a few hundred or something. So I went into a slight bit of a panic, but I managed to source one from actually relatively local, from Weevils. So thank you, Weevils. So I bought one and it arrived at the beginning of the week, and it's a lovely thing. But it does mean that I've kind of opened a present before Christmas. So I have to try and be a little bit cautious when I'm there. But I'll see what turns up. I'll see. There'll be, as I mentioned before, about the fun about going through. Well, the fun about any swap meet is not just the new stuff, but it's the used and the old stuff. And you see something, you think, I hadn't even thought about getting that, or I haven't got one, and I'll pick one up for a bargain.
You see, that has no appeal. Well, it doesn't have no appeal. I do like the idea of a bargain, and we did fill our boots. Well, you quite literally filled your boots with those let's not go John Setke cars. But I'm not there for the old stuff. I'm there to see, just to pick up and feel. That sounds wrong.
Well, it depends how the sentence is going to end. To be fair.
Not a euphemism. I want to stroke the plastic. That does sound like a euphemism. Because I do want to see the Shadow DN4. I won't be buying one.
You will. I'll
no.
bet when you hold it in your hand, you'll want one.
No, when I hold it in my hand, I might accidentally drop it.
No, well, that'll cost.
I can't do that now that I've said this. Can I? Anyhow, no, I see it as an opportunity because of the death of the model shop and the inability. It's just everything's online now. You can't go and see stuff and decide whether you want to buy it or not. Even the department store in Oxford that used to have a Scalextric franchise, they've gone. They've converted that into a hotel now. So it's an opportunity to see stuff in the flesh and go, oh, and be amazed or just be disappointed, which obviously is what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everything and seeing some people, because that's one of the great things about these things, is you bump into folk that you haven't seen for a while. But inevitably I will buy an armful of cars, I suppose. But we'll see. But that's guess what we'll be talking about in the next show, folks. Yeah.
I think there's the problem I have at the moment, and it always seems to me that these swap meets, the big ones, the decent ones, come along at the wrong time, because there's things that have been announced that I need in my life, but they won't be there. I'm thinking obviously about the Maserati GT3 from Paul Ricard. Those Maurizio boys say they're going to release, but they're not. They're just mucking about. Everything else is jumping the queue, and that one is not.
No,
there.
you've had some insider knowledge on that one. You know it's imminent, don't you?
No, that's just flack. That's nothing. They're just winding me up with that.
Are they? Okay.
I think Dave Kennedy's behind that, isn't he? It was him, I think.
He's just taunting you. He's just taunting you.
That's what he does best.
Well, talking of that, one of the things which will be, I don't know whether it'll be good or bad, really, is there are now so many people making slot-related YouTube things. I guess sort of us as well, but even though this is a podcast, half the people there could be carrying cameras.
No, no.
Filming each other, which would be fun.
That would be very funny. See people in a kind of Mexican standoff with their phones pointing at one another. No, you say something. I'm interviewing you. No, you're interviewing. I'm interviewing you. I interviewed you first.
As well as being your personal shopper, would you like me to be your PR agent? So I can, if anybody wants to interview Pedro, could you submit your
agent
requests? Submit your requests with hubs attached.
The good news for me is I'm going to be so busy getting to the podium that I won't be doing interviews, and so you'll be the one that they have to talk to, Scott. But just don't say anything nasty about me, all right?
Okay, well, it depends.
If you get, I mean, we're blowing our own trumpets here. If anyone bothers to ask us anything,
no one else is going to blow them. Okay. So, at the risk of moving further, deepening your disappointment at things which you want, which are not around, although I think I know the answer to this one, have you seen anything recently announced that you would hope would be at Gaydon that you've got to buy?
I'm not going to give you an answer to that because you haven't pitched it in the right way.
Okay. How much don't you want an NSR Corvette?
No. Oh, Scott. What caught my eye, you mean? It's a feature, Scott. It's a part of the podcast. It's a feature. It needs a title. It really ought to have a bump underneath it, a little tune, but that's too organised. Yes, I did spot the NSR Corvette. Yes, it was a big, heavy sigh. God, what a disappointment. The NSR have moved now into the category of meh, not interested. Decals for headlights, Corvettes. I mean, the thing with the Corvette is how many liveries. First reference, 19 minutes in, boys. Paying out on 19 minutes. There aren't that many. I mean, with 2 yellow ones, a silver one, and then hundreds of Repsol, Martini. Who else do they put their fancy liver? Who else do they use? I think that's it for them, isn't it? Martini and Repsol. Yeah.
How much do you hate fantasy liveries?
Oh, how long have we got? How long have we got for me to go on about fancy? It's just disappointing, isn't it? I mean, I know that's the way this started, but it's not a real car. It's not a real model. I know some people can tolerate it, but I can't, and I'm a tolerant man.
So this sort of backwards leads me to something. On Instagram, I think it was, I was served up, as they say in the industry, a couple of ads which featured the Tottenham Hotspur football players racing each other, or not racing each other, they were racing against each other in a sort of time trial with Scalextric. And it's a promotion for the Cinch car buying thing. Clearly, they spent a lot of money sponsoring Tottenham Hotspur, and they want to get something out of it. And Think Scalextric, which is a British company who make layouts and buildings and features, and they'll also run events. Very successfully, I gather. They make some lovely stuff. They built a track, and they're part of it, obviously filmed with using the footy stars. But it did make me think about the connection between football and slot cars. Football, global game, globally popular. Can you remember the F40s in the football club liveries?
I'm trying very hard not to remember the F40s in football livery, Scott.
Well, I think it was they were clearly a fantasy livery because there was no. Well, there was one real race car in a football livery. Can you think of
the Fly Lister Storm?
Yeah, well, the real Lister Storm, yeah, Fly Lister Storm.
Well, indeed, yes.
So Newcastle United, but no, this was the sort of Scalextric had a.
Oh, got that.
Excuse me.
Hay right fever. Off the scale on the old
I haven't got
noisometer.
I just don't dust very often. No, there was a range of F40s with various football club logos on them, and I think there was a real racing series where they tried to get football clubs to sponsor single seaters.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I think it failed, probably some sort of money laundering scheme. But motor racing is full of it, or it was full of it.
Scott, we haven't got a lawyer.
We haven't got a lawyer. Allegedly. I think I've told you, I was once told by the motoring correspondent for a magazine that if there was a Formula One car with a company logo on it that you didn't recognise, that was probably a good sign. Yeah. If a company had got sufficiently big that it wanted international exposure and you'd never heard of it, it was curious. Anyway, so yeah,
are you thinking of energy drinks when you say that?
Well, I don't really know the details of that one, but I gather it's an ongoing one, isn't there? That's those are I think.
Sorry, digression.
I blame. I think a lot of it can be, shall we say, 80s Italian small Grand Prix teams, perhaps, maybe.
Close to the wire.
Close to the wire. How did I get to there? Oh yes, Cinch making TV ad with Scalextric in it, with footballers. But it's all good. Brings it to the. We haven't had a TV ad with Scalextric in it for a little while, I don't think.
I'm not going to lie. Anyway. That appeared in my feed, and as soon as I clocked that it was footballers, I just thought, yeah, next scroll, because football leaves me cold. It's a disappointing game, and I wasn't interested, so I didn't bother giving them my impression. I didn't look at that page or that article, that post. There you go, post. I didn't look at that. Post. Am I allowed to say the other thing that's making me excited, Scott?
Yeah, go on.
I discovered. Excuse me. Sorry. That's quite horrific. We'll try and edit that out. I won't. So again, on the Instagram, on the gram, I noticed somebody. I think slot car company. They posted an image of a car that is very dear to my heart. The Direction Racing Lamborghini Huracan from Super GT many years ago, 2016, 2017, I believe. A car that I've been making a white kit model of for the last 5 or 6 years, probably, struggling to make it with some Patos decals. I struggled with getting the colours right. I struggled, and it's just sat there. And I did this summer, think I just need to nail it. I need to get that one out. And these guys had posted a picture of it, and so I messaged them and said, "Oh, great! Is that the Patos decals?" And apparently, it's Sideways are actually going to release it. It's a genuine release of theirs, and that's made me very happy because it's I love that livery. I don't know quite what it is about it, but I absolutely love it. And of course, it's making all my efforts completely redundant. So thanks a lot, Chris at Sideways. Cheers, mate. But it's making me happy. I'm going to have to buy that one, and it won't be there again, but I don't care. I'll buy it when it comes out.
So he's given you 5 years to make your own.
Yeah, and I just couldn't pull it off. I needed more time, damn it. I had issues. So it's a fantastic livery.
I would say that's true.
No, hear me out. I need to make this very clear. It's a fantastic livery. And I saw it and just thought, yes, I checked out that the decals available. They were, ordered them. And then, and only then, and this is the arse about face way I do things, I started doing my research and discovered it's a bugger of a livery. It's a tricky old, because they use, in certain angles, it looks like it's all one car. It is one car. It's all one colour, pink. But then you look closer, and actually there's 2 shades that are being used. And then you look closer still, and you realise that one of them's actually a bit of a chrome wrap. And that's immediately like, oh, how the hell do I do chrome wrap in a 1/32? I mean, that technology has yet to be invented. Maybe 3D printing will come to the rescue. Who knows? But I really struggled. In the end, I had to mix up some paint to try and get the right pink. And in the intervening years, that paint has evaporated. I have a tiny little bit that I needed to touch up. That's probably why it got put away in the back of the shelf. And now the paint's evaporated and I can't do that. So the decals have probably withered. I need to finish it. I need to try and finish it before the actual genuine release gets made. But I love that livery. It's a great one.
And this, dear listener, is why Pedro doesn't do how to do it videos, because instead of being 5 minutes long,
sorry,
even on a stop motion, it would have to take 5 years for him not to finish the project. Do you know what? It probably would be quite a hit, actually. Just a constant live feed on your modeling desk with this paint drying out. Anyway,
well, that's ASMR, isn't it? Is that ASMR? I don't understand ASMR.
I don't know what that stands for. I think I sympathise with you though, because when I got the recent, was it last year, this year? I forget. It's one of those things when you're retired, time changes. The new old Lotuses, the Ayrton Senna Lotuses, even though it was the wrong helmet and it didn't have its colours on it. So I wanted to paint a blue stripe and a green stripe on the helmet so that it looked authentic. So I took the car to bits and I pulled the driver out, and it's still sitting on my modelling desk waiting for me to do it. So that's only 2 little stripes of a perfectly acceptable colour that I just haven't done. But how long ago was that? They came out, before the end of last year, I think? This year?
That one went over my head. I'm not so fussed about Scalextric F1s, really. Sorry. Although, having said that, I haven't ordered the Essex, is it the Andretti 78, 79? I don't know which one it is, but it's in the Essex livery, and I do like a bit of Essex livery. I don't know quite why. It's almost as good as JPS in my book.
It's a Martini live. The green one, it's Martini. Well,
is it? I thought it was Essex.
It says Essex on the side pods, but it was principally Martini.
Main sponsor. Okay.
Looks very odd. Yeah, because Lotus and John Player stopped. So bizarrely, when he got the Martini sponsorship, Chapman obviously decided to go back to Lotus Green. So you had this, it looked very odd having Martini stripes on a green background.
Does it? No, I quite like the look of that car. So I've pre-ordered that one, and I will have that one.
Okay, if someone, and no one ever will, if they did make a Lotus 80, because the car was a bit of a disaster, but it looked great. So yeah, 3D printing could come to my rescue. But there you go.
Oh, 3D printing will be all over that, Scott.
Yeah, we'll have that. But if only it wasn't a fading fad, eh? That's the thing.
Well.
The other thing which caught my eye just literally days ago, he said, remembering that this is Friday, there's a new stage being built for the Abergavenny Slot Car Rally at the beginning of June. The guys there build lovely little stages, which are all landscaped and sceneried. And this one is called, steady on, I'm going to pronounce this, Ilian Vanin.
Oh, you've just offended a whole load of Welsh people.
Alien van, which I hope is how you pronounce, and it means the Isle of Man. So it's based on Isle of Man.
I hope
So
that's how
I
you pronounce it, because if it isn't, you will cross the border and then suddenly a sniper will take you out.
take me out just a minute. Well, I think they're a bit friendlier than that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to
are.
having a go on that. It looks very grippy. That's all I'll say. So,
Ooh, hang on. Is
so
this a lead into some tire talk, Scott?
no, I
Thank God.
very famously don't do any practice or testing for the slot rally, but sometimes the tracks can be, if it's very grippy, obviously things can tip. If you've got little cars do well on that the Abergavenny slot rally because some of the tracks are quite tight and twisty, so your big wide Ninko NSR types things get stuck, whereas a titchy little SCX will weak its way through. So, but if it's very grippy, obviously.
Does the SRC 914 not rule the roost though? Because they seem to be. I've looked at some rally results in the past for slot car stuff and just seen 914, 914, 914, which is a bit boring. But if it's the beast to have,
I think it's more that there are certain people usually do well, so it depends what they are driving. Really, I like to take quirky stuff if I can, or basically things I want to spend all day driving. So, hence the reason in the past I've taken sort of old SD1s. I might dig out my modified TR7. Modified only in the sense that it goes round corners rather than just falls over.
But how did you achieve that? How did you make it go around corners?
I bought it off eBay or at a swap meet or something. I've a bit like you with your Huracan. I've had a shell and a chassis and various pieces, and occasionally held up different car underpans to the shell to see which one would fit for a TR7 that I've for 10 years at least. And then I came across this one that somebody had already modified. I thought, yep, I love that. Thinking I could swap the body for mine, because the one that I bought is just a black body rather than the works livery. But I didn't check that the body mountings they've changed the way the body's mounted, so I can't do that. However, I've got it, so I may as well use it. I won't be taking my new Fly Renault 5 Luckies, though, because it's very pretty and it's got fog lamps on the front and things that will not survive rapid interface with the side of the track.
Sudden disassembly, unplanned.
Yeah. Yes.
I meant to say when I was positively gushing about the Huracan direction racing car, that I made a rare trip to Facebook and saw that Sideways are also planning a Group 5 Beamer 3.5 CSL, which I somehow, did I know that was a thing? Going to be a thing? Did I? I don't know.
I'm not sure I did either, but then we are old and we forget things.
It's true. But I went there, giddy with excitement, looking for pictures of the Huracan. There were none. That's disappointing. And then my giddiness and my happiness got multiplied with the sight of this 3D rendering of a Group 5 Beamer. I mean, I don't like Beamers, but I'm having that one. I will have to have multiples of that one, because if they do the right liveries on that, that'll be a peachy thing. I think decaldoc.de, I think that's the one. I think they do quite a few sets of water slides for the Group 5 3.5.
Well, as you know, I recently purchased the Carrera Gotha beer version, which is very pretty, but it is missing a few decals, so I might have a look at that. Group 5. I mean, Sideways, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of do GT3 or Group 5, don't they? That's kind of their thing. I think they don't do. They don't do rally.
No, they don't do. And I was briefly going to confuse them with SRC. No, you're right. They just do. Oh, are you right? Oh, old people query themselves. I think they just do the GT3s and the Group 5s, and they seem to make a nice little stab of it. I didn't realise that one of the posts said, be patient, we're assembling these in France. So there was a little picture of all the little screws and bits and bobs in plastic boxes as they were bolting together one of the cars in France.
All right. Well, only this morning, 2 days ago, because we're recording this on Friday, Hobby Classic. It's Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's really Friday. Hobby Classic are making, I presume, a limited edition of a Citroën Traction Avant, but in camouflage with an FFI sort of hand painted on the roof and the doors. Now, I'm not entirely sure what FFI is. I presume it's Free French. I don't know. Anyway, this thing is being hand painted, so they're doing, I don't know, 50 or 100 of them or something. But there's some pictures on Instagram of them making them, so it's being camouflaged, painted up, and weathered, and it looks very nice. So yeah,
You'll have to send me a link to that.
The handmade slot car is clearly with us. Well, it has been with us a long time, hasn't it? Because do you remember? I suppose things like Racer and George. What's George's surname? He's still making
Turner?
lovely car. George Turner, thank you. George still makes.
Yeah.
He's been making very lovely limited editions of the handmade cars for a long time. So it's a thing.
I said to you about the thing I'd seen on the gram. That was the Velsatis people making
Velosaur.
them making 1/32 wreaths to put round a driver figure, and the effort they had gone to, I just it's amazing. I love a decent model, which is why I like the existence of the Shadow DN4. I won't buy one, but I like its existence because it appears to be a truly nice, sharp model. Or we will see tomorrow at Gaydon.
Tomorrow again.
But isn't tomorrow Wednesday? Oh no, this is confusing. Anyhow, the Velsatis people, they go to the nth degree, and I'm impressed at the patience and the end result. It's fantastic. I won't be buying one, but I doff my cap.
Would if you won the lottery on Friday night tonight, would you buy them?
No.
I would have some Velosaur cars.
Well, a fool and his money are easily parted, as my mother was wont to say. If I win the lottery tonight, because there is a lottery tonight on Tuesday night.
And Friday.
Yes, but today's Tuesday.
No, it's not. It's Friday.
I won't be buying.
You'll spoil it for the listeners.
I'll be buying full-size Huracans and everything. I've got a list.
Really?
I actually do keep a little list of things what I would buy if I won the Euromins. How sad is that?
Oh, I think we all do, to be honest. Yeah,
I'd find a nice, decent Venturi. I'd buy one of those.
My God.
I'd have several Skylines. Oh, we're digressing. Sorry, this is a whole other program, but I've got my little list.
Some people think, I mean, even I'm sure this is not true. Some people think that you buy slot cars because it's a displacement for not being able to buy the real ones.
Oh, I think that's true.
But no, it's not. It's not. I buy slot cars. I would never buy as a real thing. So,
well, yeah. Yes, and no. Yes.
Yes, I know. No, definitely not. No,
I think it's displacement. Yeah, I mean, if I won the Euromins, I would buy myself a little GT3 team. Start with the British Championship. Oh my God! Did you see the British Championship? I think I knew it was there. Someone runs an AMG GT3 in the old D2 Privat. Was it colours? And I just think, Saturday. I will be badgering Simon, saying, "You got to make that one. Come on, that's a peachy looking machine."
I did watch a bit of the Brands Hatch race, but actually much more entertaining because it was just mental. Was the IMSA race at Laguna Seca? So they had the hypercars, as we would call them, so the Cadillac, the BMW, the Acura, and the Porsche, mixed in with GT3 cars around Laguna Seca.
God, that's small, which is that
it's small. So these are the cars built to do 250 down the Mulsat Straight, diving down the corkscrew. It is brilliant. It's a great race. It's only about 3 hours long, and but it's lovely.
Was that this weekend past?
This was this weekend past. Yeah,
I must look that up on YouTube. I didn't know that was happening.
The disappointing thing is the grandstand opposite the pits almost empty. Hardly anybody there.
Well, I watched a bit of the Fanatec. Am I getting confused? Yeah, I watched a bit of the Fanatec at Brands Hatch. And that actually appeared to have a reasonable crowd, but quite often GT racing doesn't, sadly.
Yeah, it's a shame. But anyway, Laguna Seca, so great entertainment. I enjoyed the race and made me want to buy hypercar models even more. But I'm hoping. I know Scale Auto are doing them, and I think someone else is doing. I think SRC is doing them, but they'll probably be out and out competition-y type slot cars. Great for those who want them. Not really me. I would love a Sideways or a slotted set of hypercars, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because they'll be slightly cheaper as well. Just while you're talking Laguna Seca and I was talking Brands Hatch, I watched the two races at Brands, and I think I watched most of both, and I came to the conclusion that Brands Hatch has had its time. It's just too small a track for those kind of cars now. It was a bit dull. Although I was, oh dear, don't. There's a driver from France with a surname that I just cracked me up, Bastard.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just waiting for the commentator. I was hoping he was really good and that he would come charging through the field, and the commentators would say, "Bastard is charging through the field," or "That bastard is charging through the field," because that would have amused my tiny little mind.
I'm sure John Watson managed to avoid saying anything.
John Watson, foot in mouth Watson. I love John Watson.
Jolly good.
Yeah.
Right then. So we need to get to bed because we've got to get up early and drive to Gaydon tomorrow morning.
But
pretend.
Oh, it's hurting my head. It's got all this pretending.
But
you were thrown.
No, it's not difficult. Let's be honest. Anyway, I was going to say I will see you there literally
Tomorrow. No.
Tomorrow I'll see you there, and I wish you well in the race. I think if you don't do it for yourself, do it for the show. You're doing it for talking.
Oh no, I don't need pressure. Jeez.
And then
I apologize. Can I get my apologies? I'm sure the proper racers at Polycar.
Do you know what I've just realised what it is? This is like classic Blue Peter. You are John Noakes, and you are doing it for the audience.
You mean I got to take a dog called Shep? Get down, Shep. Get down.
You got to take the dog, but no, that's the spirit, if you'll excuse the pun, into which you've got to go. You're doing it so that those who can't be there.
I'm doing it for a giggle because I mean that John Underwood has often said to me, "Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it?" Because he just needs a good laugh, I suppose. Thanks, John. I am doing it for a giggle. I do want to apologise to everyone who I knock off the track accidentally tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Not Saturday. Tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Saturday. Oh God, it's confusing. But I will try and keep it out of everyone's way. I will have some fun, and I'll try not to be a pain in the ass. I'll try.
Well, I suppose 2 out of 3 is not bad. So, one more sleep till Gaydon, as the kids don't say. If you're at the Slot Festival and you like the podcast, say hello. If you don't like the podcast, why the hell are you listening this far?
If you do like the podcast, say hello to Scott. Don't distract me because I'm going to be focused. I'm going to be laser focused.
In the zone. The zone.
I don't want no Martin Brundle types coming up to me and shoving a microphone in my face and saying,
What hubs are you running?
I'll give you a Kimi Räikkönen-like answer of where I've just been with all the excitement.
Okay, jolly good. Right. Thanks for listening. If we see you, say hello. If we miss you, sorry. We'll catch you again next time. Say goodbye, Pedro.
Goodbye, Pedro.
Today we are full of excited anticipation as it's the eve of the biggest slot car festival. It really isn't Friday, you know that, don't you? I don't want you getting up early tomorrow.
Yeah.